The British government has learned that Saddam Hussein recently sought significant quantities of uranium from Africa.
Those are the 16 words that President Bush said in his 2003 State of the Union address, just a couple of months before the war in Iraq began. It was among the more startling charges that the president had made. You know, the strongest case for going to war was that Saddam Hussein was making weapons of mass destruction, and the strongest WMD claim was that he might be making nuclear weapons. And this seemed to be pretty good evidence. So it was 3 months after the fall of Baghdad, and there were just starting to be doubts about where are these weapons of mass destruction that we went to war about. And this former ambassador, Joseph Wilson, wrote an op-ed saying, hey, I was sent by the CIA to Africa to look for signs that Saddam Hussein had tried to buy uranium there, and I didn't find any. And this made a huge fuss, and Karl Rove was the first one to tell me that Ambassador Wilson had a wife, that she worked at the CIA, and that she'd played a role in sending him to Africa. And I spoke to Scooter Libby the next day, and he confirmed that for me. But it was the farthest thing from my mind that day when I talked to Karl Rove and Scooter Libby that I would ever wind up in such a weird position, or that they would. As soon as I talked to Karl Rove on July 11th, 2003, I thought it was a big deal. And I sent an email off to my bosses, and being a sort of playful guy, I said, I just spoke to Karl Rove on double super secret background. Well, that's not an exact term of art in the world of journalism. In fact, it was just a little homage to the movie Animal House, where John Belushi's frat gets put on double super secret probation. Actually, I think super was my line. It was just double secret probation in the movie. And anyway, I was just being playful, but in one of the many weird twists of this case, my email itself leaked. And so my email went all over Washington, all over the world, all over the internet, and people all got to sort of stroke their chins, and pundits and experts said, well, what did Cooper mean by double super secret background? And of course, it was a reference to Animal House. I've talked to people in different places, nothing too exotic like parking garages, a fair number of cups of coffee or meals or things like that, you know, on foreign trips with presidential aides, maybe under the wing of Air Force One as we're parked on the tarmac, or other places like that, but I've never had to go too far undercover. All administrations use reporters to leak information. All people leak, and I think it's the job of the reporter not just to be an open microphone. I think, like a lot of reporters, you know, you talk to people, and you know, it's the coin of the realm in Washington, but other places too, Wall Street, wherever, that somebody says, hey, this is off the record, or don't quote me on this, and you do what you can to protect them. There I was in the Oval Office, facing a jail sentence to protect the identity of someone, Karl Rove namely, who was sitting not too many yards away. Yeah, I expected a simple hello with the president. Instead, his first words to me were, Cooper, I thought you'd be in jail by now. And I actually took it as good-natured and fun, but it was weird. How do you explain to your kid that you might be going to jail, and it's for a good reason, but that he should respect the law and not think going to jail is a good thing? It's very hard. I was helped a bit because one of the books I was reading to him, the Dr. Dolittle series, in it, Dr. Dolittle, made famous in a couple of movie versions, winds up being imprisoned because he helped rescue a sea lion from a malevolent circus keeper. It's a nice prison you have here, almost the best I was ever in. Tell the superintendent he needn't apologize. I've had a most refreshing sleep, so well ventilated. You know, I think like anyone who's seen prison movies, you know, you worry about the shanks and, you know, the big guy next to you taking romantic interest in you and all kinds of things that, you know, are a long part of prison lore. If I was going to get sentenced, I wanted to lobby for a particular prison in Western Maryland, a minimum security facility, which is, you know, at least you get a little bit outdoors. I would have, had I been sentenced, gone the same prison as Judith Miller, which was not a fun prison at all. In addition to being a journalist and a father, one of the things I do is stand-up comedy. About 10 years ago now, I'd another journalist I know who did stand-up comedy part-time, asked me to join him on stage at a comedy club in New York City, and I did it, and I got a pretty good reaction, so I kind of kept doing it for a while, and I built up a little sideline doing it. I got a little media attention for it. I had a pretty good Clinton impersonation. I love Condé Nast Portfolio. That is a good magazine. You get that free golf umbrella. Unfortunately, as I got into my legal case, my lawyers discouraged me from being too funny, even though there were many funny things about it. So I'm hoping with with this legal case proceeding, I can return to the stage, or at least the small screen. I must just say, personally, I'm very glad to have my part of this over. I think, unless something utterly unforeseen happens, I'm in my 16th minute of fame, and my 15 minutes have come and gone, and that's fine by me.